Test 1, 2, 3. Test 1, 2, 3. Can you hear me? Could you guys let me know in the comments if you can hear me? Welcome. Shed life is good. Echo. Okay. I took the headphones off. You should be able to hear me now. Let me know. I'm actually going to mute. It should be muted. Can hear you. Okay. Is it loud enough? Is it loud enough? Awesome, awesome. Okay, everybody, it's not quite 7 o'clock. We'll wait for some folks to stream in here. And I apologize about the STBY at the top of the screen, right at my head. Basically, that stands for standby. And for some reason, the camera settings changed on me, and I cannot figure out how to get the standby away. So you're going to have to bear with the STBY at the beginning, or at the top of the screen right now. That's right, that's right. All right, Jeff, hello. Ladies and gentlemen, it's 7 o'clock. I believe we're going to start on time, 7 o'clock Mountain Time. Welcome to the second live stream. And it sounds like you can hear me. I'll monitor the comments as best as possible in case an issue pops up. New microphone system this week, so that's good. And again, apologize about the standby at the top of the screen. Not sure what's going on there, but it's happening. Okay, let me just pull up here a few notes that I have. Oh my goodness. And first of all, I would like to start with and chalkboard. Actually, shall we rotate the chalkboard? Uh-oh, there it is. Butter my bread. There, that's what I'm talking about. That's awesome. So, first of all, based upon yesterday's vlog, where I asked the question of the day, where are you from in the world? And there's been over 200 comments already about where you all are from around the world. And so, in the comments right now, if you could just let us know where you're watching from, it's amazing. Singapore, Italy, Russia. I mean, it's just been all over the world, so it's a beautiful thing. Like, runners are everywhere. So anyway, let us know in the comments where you're from. That'd be amazing. Yes, Daniel, there is no echo. It's amazing. Butter my bread, there it is. Okay, so also, before we begin, could you grab the link above and share it? Share it on Facebook, Twitter, and especially tonight we're going to talk about high school running, high school cross country, track, all that good stuff, whether it's with respect to training or philosophy behind running in high school. There it is. Look at this coming in. Sorry. Oklahoma, Canada, Malaysia, Arizona, Latvia. Oh my goodness. New York. Oh my goodness. It's amazing. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So, grab the link, spread it around to your buddies, and that'd be amazing, especially your running friends. Let them know that we're doing this. Looks like we got 107 people watching right now. Let's bump that number up. That'd be awesome. And also, tonight we're going to do 20 minutes on one topic, 20 minutes on another topic, and then the last 20 minutes will be an open Q&A. So I'd like to start with high school, talking about high school. But before we dive in, Super Chat. What is Super Chat? Basically, the comment section is the chat box is blowing up. It blew up last week, just like so many comments and questions coming in that I could not answer them all. So YouTube has this feature where you can give a little donation, pay a little money, and your comment will be highlighted in the chat box. And I will see that coming through, and I will make sure to mention the super chats that do come through, because guess what? Yeah, that's your hard-earned money, and I realize that. And basically, I would like to highlight the hey, Steve, Blue Collar Runner, Josh, Jack. Oh my goodness, I'd like to highlight everybody in the chat box that does a super chat. So thank you for that. And okay, let's start first with high school. That's what I want to talk about tonight. And I'm curious, just listening to and based upon everybody's comments from last week as far as how the live chat and live stream went, I am curious to hear who all ran in high school. Like, did you run in high school? Did you run cross country, track, both? I know for me, my freshman year, I did cross country, basketball, and track, but eventually cut basketball out because I was like 5 feet 2 inches and I wasn't tall enough. So I'm curious, comment in the chat box a little bit about your background with running in high school. Dude, this is just amazing. Welcome everybody. Ottawa, Canada. It's just blowing me away. Cross country and track. That's good. That's good. Okay, I'm a freshman in high school right now. Perfect, Liam. And also, if you're not, don't be afraid to share a little bit of the times that you've run in the past. And there it is, Julio. That's awesome. Thank you for the super chat, Julio. Okay, we got more people streaming in. 122 watching. Thank you, thank you. Don't be afraid to share that link. Okay, a little background on my high school experience in Buena Vista, Colorado. So my hometown is at 8,000 feet above sea level. And one last question. Start thinking of questions for me about my high school running experience and how I eventually walked on to the University of Colorado's cross country and track team. So start thinking about questions, and I'll be sure to look over in the chat box. All right, so I grew up in Buena Vista, Colorado, 8,000 feet above sea level. What that is in meters, don't test me now, but it's pretty high. And basically, I was a soccer player in middle school, but ended up not being really, frankly, strong enough I can actually distinctly remember. I was doing a corner kick, so for all the soccer and football fans out there around the world, I was doing a corner kick, and thank you for sharing your times, by the way. I was doing a corner kick, and I couldn't kick the ball from the corner of the field to the goal. Like, I wasn't strong enough. And I was a pretty small guy in high school, in middle school, transitioning to high school. I didn't really hit my growth spurt until my sophomore year in high school. So what I ended up deciding to do, that's right, the banana belt, what I ended up deciding to do is cut out the soccer ball and just do the running. And I think that's a lot of people's stories that have found running and discovered running, is that they weren't strong enough. Julio, nice, 204 PR, that's good. They weren't strong enough to maybe be a really great soccer player. So I transitioned to cross country my freshman year of high school, ran cross country, and basically was able to get onto the varsity team my freshman year of high school. So that was now it was a small school, but it was really, really great to make that leap from basically, very basic running in middle school to making the varsity cross country team in high school. Things progressed. I ended up, and I'll just jump ahead a little bit, I ended up my senior year, for those of you that don't know, I ended up running a 16:27 my senior year in high school. That was my personal best in high school, my PR, and pretty good, not a bad time, but definitely not like, I wasn't nowhere close to winning state or anything like that. Like, I was not incredibly fast in high school. Oh, 1 second here. I might be able to figure out this this standby business. Hold on. Can we? Hold on. Nope. I'm just gonna leave it. I'm just gonna leave it. Sorry about that. Technical difficulties. We're going to figure this out. We're going to figure this out. Thomas, thank you for the super chat. So anyway, that's a little bit of the background on my cross-country experience. And so now, nope, that's okay. So now I'd like to answer your questions about high school cross country. So what are your questions for me about how I ended up going from a 1627 in high school to walking on to one of the best cross country programs in the country at the University of Colorado? So I'm going to monitor the chat here for 1 second. Here we go. Congrats to Ryan, made varsity today as a freshman. That's awesome. Ran in 1926, hoping to break 19 at the local 5K. Chase, that's good, that's good. Awesome, perfect question. Mileage in high school wasn't high enough. It wasn't high enough, I'll just put it that way. I loved my coaches in high school, but we actually transitioned from my sophomore year to my junior year to a new coach, and I think I topped out at 40 miles a week, maybe 45. It wasn't enough. Now, I'm a big fan of training smart. You know, you got to train smart. You don't want to run too much too quick because you can get injured that way. But I will say that, Brent, you're a beast. 1558. Brent, good job. I will say that you have to, and sorry, I'm trying to talk and monitor the chat at the same time. I'm going to focus more on the story. You got to be careful with your mileage, but I would, if looking back, I think good mileage for a high schooler, like freshman year, 30 miles a week, sophomore year, 40 miles a week, junior year, 50 miles a week, senior year, maybe 60. If you can handle it, and obviously always listen to your coaches first. Don't go off of my advice, but like if I was a coach, I would dabble in higher mileage. Does that answer your question? Okay, good question. Do you think training programs and incentives in college accelerates injury rates? From Kevin. Well, we will jump into college discussion here in a second, Kevin. I want to focus a little more on high school. It's a good question, Kevin. We'll come back to that. Let's see, what else do we have here? How can I predict what my track time will be using my cross-country times? Thomas. Oh, goodness. Well, gosh, I guess I would have to know, Thomas, it'd be nice to know your time. Lauren, at what point in the season should you start speed work? Good question, Lauren. So we did speed work kind of throughout. I like to do, basically, Lauren, to answer your question, we would do strides basically the first day of practice, almost like 300-meter strides, easy. 70 to 80% of your, your race pace, your all out, and kind of, not your all out speed, but your race pace. So just easy strides, just trying to wake the legs up. But I think really intense. Now looking back, I would lean toward less speed work early in the season and really sharpen later in the season. So I would say, thinking back to high school, probably 2.5 to 3 weeks before like districts or league, before like the playoffs start in cross country. That's how I would probably approach it now. I think a lot of times in high school, I just didn't have the aerobic base to really, really hold the speed especially over difficult cross-country courses. Okay, good question, Lauren. Let's see. Let's see here. I'm just scanning here. And again, I will hit the super chats. Let me just scroll up here. Good questions. How much work did you put in? 1 to 10. Mitchell, 8. 8, Mitchell, to answer your question. Maybe 7.5 to 8. I could have gone more, Mitchell. I could have gone more. Did you do 8Ks in college? Yes, I did, Joel. That's how I walked on to the CU cross-country team, was racing an 8K. It was a time trial. All right, good questions. At what point in the season should you start speed work? Already answered that. Any advice for sustainable pace workouts? Ooh, gosh. Maybe, William, explain a little more about what you mean by sustainable pace. Let's see here. What else do we have? In your opinion, what is the best college after high school for cross country? God, well, the University of Colorado, of course. That's what, and I'm just kidding, Henny. That's a good question. There's so many these days. I mean, gosh, whether you're talking East Coast, West Coast, in the middle of the country, there's a lot of good ones. But, you know, obviously I'm biased to CU. Nice. I'm glad, Justin. Okay, what other questions do you have about high school cross country? And I'll just share a little more. Like, I think that one of the more difficult workouts that we did was a mile repeat workout. It was like 7 by 1 mile repeat. But again, I don't know if it was specific enough for speed for the 5K. So what ended up happening is I walked on to the CU cross country team and I was learning a lot under Mark Wetmore. And basically, I absorbed a lot of his knowledge and ended up applying it to training my brother, who ended up running. And I have just so you know, I have my old training logbook here, and I would strongly recommend. This is my training logbook from high school. Never ever get rid of this book. Your training log, like, hold on to these. Like, once you're out of college and later in life, like, this is invaluable information to learn about your past running. So here's like all my old runs from high school. It's just amazing. So I have a USATF sticker here, Foot Locker sticker. But anyway, I ended up running or coaching my brother and had some pretty good success. Yes, he ran at Foot Locker, did really well. So anyway, I think sharpening. I think we need to sharpen better for the 5K. Just to put that out there for anybody trying to get faster at the 5K distance. Let's see here. Kevin, great question. What form advice can you give for high schoolers starting out? So I weighed 5. So I was 5'2" as a freshman, 5 feet 2 inches, and I think I weighed 95 pounds. So I wasn't even. I was a teeny tiny guy, teeny tiny. And listen, we all develop at different paces and stages, so you have to be patient. If you're a little guy out there or a little lady, like, it's okay. Like, just be patient. You will grow. You will get stronger. I call it old man strength now as I pick up my kids all day. And so I think it's really important to try to improve your strength as much as possible in high school while not getting, you don't want to hit the weight room. Like, you can do a lot of different, basically like form drills and stretching and different ways to build strength and what I like to call suppleness. So basically flexibility, especially in your ankles, to help with your form. And so, Kevin, that's a big topic, but I would say that it's really important to try and be as strong as possible in high school. Okay, let's see here. I'm just jumping again. Seth, what cross-country race strategies do you support? Like negative splits, out really fast for 2, then go out last mile, gut it out the last mile. That's from Ty. Thank you, Ty, for that question. So Ty, I probably raced a little too slow at the beginning of my high school cross-country races. I would say that I would work my way up the pack. And looking back, like when I coached my brother and he ended up racing at Foot Locker, we practiced, and at the state meet, we practiced going out hard and basically taking the lead at the state meet. Like my brother, he was never in second place at the state meet. Like when he won state here in Colorado a while back now, but he went out to the front and we practiced it, basically being going into discomfort quickly. Now, obviously, everybody's at different levels, and there's no way I could have done that in high school. My brother has more talent than I do. But I guess practicing, whatever you end up choosing for your race strategy, it's really good to practice that ahead of time. Sound good, Ty? And now, I must say, as a 33-year-old, I'm kind of... Anyway, it'll be interesting to see how that evolves in the marathon distance. Okay, keep going here. I'm going. Let's see. Any super chats here? Okay, I don't see any super chats. Let's see. What else we got? Dun, 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 dun. Let's see. Do you think winter workouts help that much? Depends on, yes, absolutely. You got to train in the winter, but I'm a big advocate of a nice break. I just came off my 2-week break, so I'm a big advocate of breaks. Who else? Okay, Josh, did you ever race against your brother? Josh, yes, we have raced against each other. Yeah, we didn't in high school, but we have in college and then also post-collegiate. Hey, this is from Rodrigo. What do you think about glycogen depleted long runs for marathon training? Ooh, Rodrigo, wait 1 second. We're going to focus more on marathon right now, but that remember that. We'll come back to that. What cross-country race strategies? Okay, that's from Ty again. Let's see. From Thomas, I'm in UIL. I don't know if this is for UIL or just my school, but the most we are allowed to do is 4 miles a day, so I do my workouts by myself. How do I manage running with my team and by myself? So I don't know what UIL is, but obviously I'm always a big advocate of listening to your coach. You know, you don't want to undercut your coach, but at the same time, you want to make sure that there's some coaches that don't always know what they're doing, and I think there's people out there that have experienced that if you're a runner. So I get it. But anyway, I'd always advocate listening to your coach. Let's see. Micah, I did run the 2 mile in track. Micah, you're not going to believe it though. Let's see. In high school, I only ran 10:05. Like, okay, it's a good time. And if that's your PR, that's awesome. But like in the big picture of high school track, that's not that fast. And so my brother, going back to my brother, he ran 9:05 in California at sea level. But I never had a chance to race in California. But he was a minute faster, and I was his coach. Just say it. But I mean, that's pretty impressive. That's a pretty good drop. Okay. Liam, let's see. What did you eat for breakfast today? Robert, that's a good question. I think I had some eggs. Robert. Thank you for that. All right. Anything else about, before we wrap this up, it's 7:20, anything else about high school cross country or track? I'd be happy to... Anything else? I'm just watching the chat here. Yeah, Jonathan, how do you feel about 2-a-days for gaining mileage? Let's see. I'm a big fan, but you have to be calloused to it, so you got to be careful. It could really cause an injury quickly. I would never do it more than twice a week, but when you do need a little more mileage, I would say it's way more relevant if you're training for a 10K half marathon, not as much in the 5K distance. Okay, let's see here. Let's see. All right, I think we're gonna move on. There's a lot of good ones here. I'm just trying to scan. Do you recommend running twice a day? Okay, we already answered that. Okay, so now I want to talk to you about marathons and marathon training. Basically, this will be the second topic for the night. And in the chat, are you training for a marathon in 2019? Let us know in the chat, are you training for a marathon in 2019? If you are, which one is it going to be? When is it? And let's start this discussion, because I am still trying to figure out what my first marathon will be. So yeah, that's awesome. Let me know in the chat on the side, and we'll dive in here. Let me just take a drink here. Take a drink. How did I meet true love, Jared? At an Irish pub. You better believe it. How do you recover after running a marathon? Okay, so I will just say for everybody that's out there that I actually have never raced a road marathon. I've raced many 50Ks, and so long, like 31 miles, 32 miles. I've raced 50 milers, and I even attempted a 100 miler in 2018. So as far as recovery, I would recommend, I love going basically, obviously, stretching is you have to stretch, but I love going to a pool and doing aqua jogging. So like basically within 30 to 60 minutes after a long race, if I can go back to the hotel and make sure it has a pool, and basically get into the pool, do some aqua jogging, and then jump into the hot tub, jump into the pool, and basically go back and forth for, I don't know, an hour, just to try and stay as loose as possible, because it's coming. You know the soreness is going to be arriving, the DOMS, delayed onset muscle soreness. So that's what I would recommend. Good question. Let's see here. Let's see. Any other questions about the marathon? The Manchester. Okay, so Carl is racing the Manchester Marathon in April. Will be my second. Congrats, Carl. That's awesome. Let's see here. Beer mile in the future. I've never done one. I don't know. I'm kind of beyond like the whole, chugging a beer. I don't know if I could do that anymore. It's like beyond me now. Let's see here. Okay, Trevor, I'm doing my second marathon in November, New York City. Awesome. Justin, what are your favorite spikes to race in? Well, oh man, that's a long time ago as far as spikes, but as far as marathon racing shoes, one second. Justin, we're investigating. I have a problem. We're trying to figure out what is going to be the best marathon racing shoe in 2019. I don't know yet. All right, what else here? Just saw the video from the 19th on t-shirts. Any update, Jose? Not yet. Probably mid-February, Jose. Eddie, what is the benefit of racing as an elite? Eddie, basically they comp your entry and they sometimes they'll pay for your hotel room, but most importantly, they reserve a spot for you at the front of the starting line. And I guess I'll just give you an update right now on grandmas. It looks like I'm just going to have to show up and race not as an elite. And that's fine. Like I don't need to be an elite status for the Grandma's Marathon. I'm just hoping to be at the front of the pack so I can run with people and race other guys to pull me along the 26 miles. So that's the thing there. Blue Collar Runner, thank you for that super chat. Ran my first marathon last November and bonked. Oh, sorry to hear that. I wonder which one was it. Let me know. The Grandma's Marathon is in Duluth, Minnesota, Dylan. Okay, let's see here. How many days strength training do you recommend during marathon training? What types of exercises for upper and lower body and number of reps? Don't want to build bulk. You're exactly right. You don't really want to build bulk as a long distance runner. You just want to be sound. You want to be sound. So I like to do 2 days a week, whether it's like Monday, Thursday. That's kind of my routine, and I will do squats. I'm trying to get into a lightweight deadlifting. I've heard a lot of good benefits from. I've actually never done it, but I'm intrigued by deadlifting. Now, listen, I think the biggest thing is your kinetic chain from the top of your head all the way down through your body all the way down to your toes. You got to make sure your kinetic chain is lined up and nice and straight and you're not leaning to the side. And so I'm practicing right now a lot of balancing exercises in the gym on this Bosu, it's called. It's basically a big blue thing that you stand on and you balance on. I think it's BOSU, I believe. Look it up, Bosu, and it's amazing for working on your balance. And as a runner, oh, it's all about that straightforward motion. So we could go on and on about lifting, but I like to do twice a week. Let's see here. What do you look for in a shoe for racing a marathon? A highly cushioned shoe or thinner, more flexible shoe? That is from Runner Mom Hall. Great question. I actually probably would not look more for more cushion. Now keep in mind, I want to go as fast as possible. So there's actually a shoe arriving hopefully in the next couple days to my house. I will reveal it to you. I don't want to tell you what it is yet, but I'll just say it's very lightweight, and it's lightweight and not as cushioned. So I'm just testing it out. And responsiveness, I would say that would be another factor, is the response. So is it going to give some good energy back to me? Those are some factors that I look at. And then the upper is critical. Like, I don't like any pressure points at all, which has me a little concerned wherever it's at about the Razor 3. I had some pressure points pop up yesterday. So anyway, good question, Runner Mom Hall, great job. Let's see here. Thomas, I don't know what my VO2 max is. I've never tested it, not sure. And what is my resting heart rate? That is actually the topic of tomorrow's vlog, which will be publishing. I believe it's around I think it's low 40s. I need to do it again. I'm not a big heart rate guy, just so you know. I don't train that way. So anyway, we'll talk more about that in tomorrow's vlog. Let's see. How many weeks is your marathon training block? So Jared, because the race is still up in the air, I'm looking at the Cleveland Marathon, believe it or not, in the third weekend of May, and then the Grandma's Marathon. If the Grandma's doesn't work, I'm looking at Cleveland. So Grandma's is in June. So basically, Jared, what I'm going to do is a 12-week training block from January to March. So I'll ramp it up. And then I'll take an easy a week to 10 days after late March, and then so April, May, June. So then another 12-week training block leading up to Grandma's if I end up doing Grandma's. So basically 2 12-week training blocks, and the first training block will not result in a peak race. It'll just be a kind of a B race, not a peak race. Okay, and thank you for all these questions. And again, if I don't get to all your questions, I will do my best to come back and revisit them later. Have you considered trying Zoomfly Flyknit? I have. I always like to say, and that's from Matthew, I always like to say that so many shoes, so little time. So many shoes, so little time. You're doing Cleveland. Nice, Jared. Jared, do you know if the course is flat? Mitchell, thanks for tuning in. Okay, let's see. And thank you for everyone that's watching. This is amazing. And again, if you know some runners out there that are just hanging out, feel free to share this link with them. Okay, Kevin, do you advocate foam rolling for recovery? If so, how often? Absolutely. I love foam rolling. Gosh, every day if you can build your strength up to it. I mean, on your easy days, you probably don't need to, but definitely after hard days. Yeah, I'm a big fan of the foam roller. Let's see here. You did, and this is again from Trevor, you did awesome in that marathon time trial with a Vaporfly 4%. Might as well just say that, stay with those. You should try to find a video of the start of the CIM. Yes, you are correct, Trevor. Let's see here. Matthew, good question. In your initial 12-week build-up, is it all aerobic-based building, or do you add in any anaerobic work? Matthew, basically it will be 95% aerobic. I will be mixing in strides and maybe some light fartlek work, and then the hills, which, as Frank Shorter used to say, hill work is speed work in disguise. So it's definitely all about that base, all about that. Like, I am a big advocate of a huge aerobic base. So good question, Matthew. Julio, you should consider the Houston Chevron Marathon. I think I'm a little too late though for this year, correct? I think I'm a little too late because isn't it coming up soon? Anyway, thank you, Julio, for that super chat. I appreciate that. Woo! Okay, what else here about marathon? How much water do you drink throughout the day? Robert, good question. Gosh, not enough, Robert. I would love to shoot for at least 2 liters, and I drink a lot of tea, too much coffee. I'll admit that, but I'd like to shoot for at least 2 liters a day. And in the summertime, it goes way up because it's hotter out. I'm sure you guys are the same way. Like, it goes way up. Okay, any other questions here? Oh, thank you again, Blue Collar Ron. Okay, Monumental Marathon, Indy, early November, flat and fast. Yes, yes, Indy is a good one. Good idea, good idea. Daniel, any updates on half marathons you will do? Daniel, thank you for asking that. I I was looking at, what was I looking at? So basically San Diego is in late March. So Daniel, I'm considering San Diego. And then what else was I considering? Oh yeah, I'm considering a local half marathon here in Denver. It's called the Colfax. And that is in May. It all depends. And this is why I made the vlog about finding your peak races, because if you don't have your peak races nailed down, and so that's kind of why I'm floundering a little bit. But I think this, now that I've heard back from the race director, from Grandma's, I think I'm just going to go with Grandma's, pay the entry fee, and just hope that I can get to the front of the pack at the starting line. So that's the game plan that's probably going to be the game plan. So anyway, good question, Daniel. Thank you for the super chat. You're amazing. Super chat's rolling in. Okay. How much nutrition planning do you do when in a training block? And I think that's from Will, right? Nutrition planning. Gosh, that's a big question. And I don't know if you mean for the actual race or if you mean just for, eating healthy throughout. I'll just take the latter. Basically, I'm a big fan of eggs. I like, protein in the morning is really, really good. I love a couple bananas, bananas are great. And I'll be honest though, I'm not a really, really strict person on my diet. I should do better. But I'm a big fan of eggs, bananas, yeah, what else? Even just like nuts, fruit, veggies, all that good stuff. So, gosh, that's a big topic, nutrition, but let's see here. Cleveland is flat. I ran in 2017. Perfect. And then Runner Mom Hall, how do you plan to carry your water during the marathon? Oh, gosh. See, that's the other benefit of being an elite runner, is that you can place your water bottles on the course. So you don't have to carry them. Man, I need to get into Grandma's. If somebody knows as an elite, it just helps. So you definitely don't want to carry your water, and if you're racing. So anyway, good question. Hi from Vancouver. Thanks for tuning in. Let's see here. Thank you. William, will you try to make it to the Olympics in the marathon? William, oh my goodness. I'm trying to make it to the Olympic trials in the marathon. The Olympic trials. That's the goal. Okay. Yeah, Zawir, sorry if I'm not saying that correctly. I do have hold on. Just so you know, I do have this hydration pack from Ultimate Direction. I have 2 hydration packs, but this is one way to carry water for a 50K, 50 miler, or even a marathon, but I don't want to be carrying anything because I want to go as fast as possible. But this is from Ultimate Direction. Okay, let's see. Okay, great questions. And anything else before we kind of transition to an open Q&A about the marathon, focusing on the marathon. So Brent says, you got to beat Sage. He's run 1 hour and 11 minute half marathon. Yeah, I don't know what his PR is there, Brent. If it is 1:11, then yeah, let's race. Let's do this. Oh, thanks for getting back into running. This is amazing. Okay, any other questions about shoes, gear? If not, we'll move to the open Q&A. This is so much fun. Thanks for tuning in. You guys are amazing. Thanks for all the super chats. Let me just take a drink here. Okay, one more question. We'll take one more. How do you stay concentrated during races? Let's see. That's a good question. I mean, I'll be frank, like in a 50K or a 50 miler, sometimes I do zone out a little bit, and you do need to stay focused, but I would say for concentration, I love to think about who I'm racing for. So I always like to, pick people and intentions to race for, because that helps me, kind of embrace the pain, and then it kind of focuses me back into the experience that my body is going through this pain. So anyway, kind of thinking of the people that I'm racing for. Good question. There you go. Okay, Brent. What do you listen to on your runs, and what kind of music do you like? Good question. So I love podcasts. I listen to podcasts. So you'll see me in the vlogs sometimes with earbuds. Very rarely do I listen to music. It's usually podcasts. You know, oh my goodness, the list goes on as far as podcasts. Good question. How far do you run in the same pair of shoes before retiring them? I'm glad you asked this, Kitashi. I think that for trainers, 250 miles should be a minimum. Like if your shoes are feeling kind of dead after 250 miles, then maybe the build quality is not there. I love to take shoes to, like, if they can make it to 400 miles, I'd say that's a good lifespan for a shoe. So, good question. We could go into details as far as different types of shoes, but I'll leave it there. That's a good one. Here we go. How do your toenails hold up with those high mileage runs, Damien? Damien, frankly, they fall off every summer. Good question, Damien. So with the mountain running, the hard downhill running where I'm just bam, 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 hitting my toes, like my toes fall off. My toenails fall off. Hopefully my toes don't fall off quite often. Good question, Damien. Do you go on Let's Run? I do not. I know, like I used to in college to kind of stay up on things, but it gets a little out of control. Okay, I shouldn't say I do not. I go on maybe like 3 times a year just to see what's going on, but frankly, it just comes down to time. Jared, I do not always listen to something. Good question. It's maybe, I don't know, maybe 60% of the time I do. I try to, you know, just enjoy the nature a lot of the times. Okay, I'm just trying to scan here. There's a lot of chats coming in, and thank you for everyone that's tuning in. Let's see here. Are you really considering running in something other than your 4% for the marathon? I think that's Alex, and yes, I actually am. I mentioned earlier that another shoe is arriving this week, and it's going to be interesting. So stay tuned for that. Yes, I am. I'm open to options. Let's Run is pretty toxic. Tell me about it. All right. Let's see here. Dun, 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 dun. How do you motivate yourself or thinking when you're feeling very tired and you almost want to stop? Good question. And yes, I'm going to now. It is now 7:40, so now we are going to go to the Q&A out of the box and open it up to anything. So for motivation, man, I mean, I want to win. I want to win. But I mean, I guess going back to what I mentioned maybe 2 or 3 minutes ago, it really helps to pick a. It really helps for me to to basically pick an intention or to offer the race up for somebody and like offer that pain up for somebody else. Like that really helps motivate me. So anyway, that's a good question. Good question. All right, hold on. This light turned off here. Daniel, nice super chat. Strava Run Group. I know. I'm trying to come up with a good name. So right now in the chat, let me know a good name for a Strava group that we can create so we can all keep track of our runs together. That would be amazing. I don't have it going yet. Maybe it's Butter My Bread. Maybe it's who knows? I mean, after yesterday's vlog's question of the day, the universality of the viewership on this YouTube channel, I was almost thinking, gosh, maybe the Strava group needs to be called the Universal Running Club or something. Like, it's just amazing to see everybody around the world. Okay, let's go into here. These are questions that came in. Oh boy. We're just going to let that be. These are questions that came in yesterday on the vlog. So let's see here. Let's see, 1 second. So this is from Armando. Seth, will you be reviewing any wide toe box shoes like Ultras or Topo athletic shoes in the future? Yes, I'm very open to large toe box shoes. I really am. Ultra, I have one pair of Ultra Taurins. So yeah, I'm open to it and I will be reviewing them at some point. Did you do a full review of the Zonte 4? That's from Angelo. Not yet. That'll be coming. Good question. I love it. DeMoor in the chat. Thank you, Abe. SJD Run Club. I know, Jared. It's like keep it simple sometimes. You know what I mean? Bread and butter running. Nice, Alex. Butter my bread. Run DeMoor miles. Love it, Kurt. Thank you guys. Oh, you guys are the best. You guys are the best. Oh my goodness. Are you all tuning in, and the people watching is going up. Seek Beauty Running Club. Love it, Angie. Thank you for tuning in, Angie. Yes. Okay. Let's see. Importance of negative split in racing. And let's see. Okay, so that's from Jim. I think if you can negative split, especially in the longer distances, I think that's a good thing. I think it's a really good thing, Jim. But again, it always depends on the competition around you, right? Like if you don't want to get left behind, but so if the pack that you're trying to stick with is 10 meters ahead of you, and you're holding back in order to basically save energy, like you have to make that tactical decision in the race and be like, okay, I'm gonna go now in order to stay with that pack so that they can pull you along. But yeah, I mean, negative splitting is always a good thing because it means you probably are pacing correctly. Good question. Okay, let's see here. John, thank you very much. Okay. Let's see here. Oh man, I'm just trying to read so many. So let's open it up. Any question you want to ask me about anything, life, YouTube, family. It could run, of course, running, anything. Ask in the chat. I will keep an eye on that. Let's see here. Love it. Okay, I'm gonna dig back in as they stream in here. Shout out from St. Louis. Thanks for tuning in from St. Louis. Okay. Let's see here. No, that was not a question. Sorry about that. Okay, here they come. Okay, what will you 2 weeks before the marathon look like in terms of training? That was from Dylan. Whoo, they're streaming in now. Okay, Dylan, I will start my taper at like 10 to 12 days out from the marathon. So I'll start to taper down and rest. How many times per week should I do speed work when training for the mile and 2 mile? And how many miles per week should I run? I am averaging 35 miles per week right now. That's for Max. How many times per week should I do speed work when training for the mile and 2 mile? Max, I would say, yeah, twice a week. Twice a week is good. I think twice a week is perfect for the mile and the 2 mile. So good question. Good question. We can dive more into that if you'd like. This is from Emiliano. My knees have been hurting a lot since track started up again. What should I do? Ooh, I mean, I would say, well, go to a doctor. But I'm not a doctor. But I would say ice. I love ice for the knees. It depends on where in your knee is hurting. And then, are you in the weight room? So if you can strengthen the muscles around your knee, so that's really important. And not just weightlifting, but the balancing, the little teeny tiny muscles, and again, I'm not a doctor, but the ligaments alongside the muscle, just like those. It's amazing how much that can help. So good question. How did you meet Bridget, aka True Love? That's a good question, but I actually answered it earlier, but I'll answer it again. In an Irish pub. In an Irish pub we met. That's right. I have not tried Elliot. I have not tried the Nike Terra Kiger trail shoes, but guess what? I believe the Kiger 5 is coming out in a month or two, so stay tuned for that. Good one. Okay, let's see here. Keep them coming. Weston, this is from Weston, do you think you are genetically gifted as a runner, or do you think you're as quick as you are because you began running early in life? Weston, that's a great question. Genetics plays into it, right? Like we all have two parents, mom and dad, and so it absolutely plays into it. Both of my parents were runners. They don't run as much anymore, but I think it doesn't hurt to. Sorry, I'm trying to stay focused here. Weston, I think we're born naturally with running talent. But I also think that through consistent training from early in life does help. The longer we're running, and frankly, I'll just say right now, I feel like my aerobic ability and my aerobic base is almost as strong as it's ever been in my entire life as a 33-year-old. So I think I'm just starting to tap into that full potential for, let's say, the marathon and the half marathon? Good question, Weston. Thomas asked, best running shorts. So Thomas, man, oh my goodness. I lean toward, Thomas, I have a lot of different types of running shorts. And guess what, Thomas? I would say it depends on the time of year. Because in the summer, I go with lighter shorts, and I love half tights. So tights that are around your leg, and I know it looks a little funny, but I love half tights in the fall, in the winter, because I don't want to risk my hamstring getting pulled. I have Nike half tights. I have Asics running shorts. I have a pair of, I actually would say, if I had to answer right now and pick one, Thomas, I would say Asics running shorts. Good question. Thank you for the super chat, by the way. Yes, and Bridget, my wife, is inside. She just reminded me in the super chat that my mom, the day I was born, my mom ran a race. So like running is like she ran a mile and then she walked the rest of the way, but that's how like she loves running as well. Good reminder. I have PF, would taking a break from running help? Dylan, good question. Dylan, in my past experience with plantar fasciitis, resting did not help. I hate to break it to you, but resting did not. In fact, I don't want to say it made it worse, but Dylan, I would recommend as much, and maybe you need to back off a little bit to let the PF tone it down a little bit. So back off your mileage. Maybe just go biking and swimming for a couple days. But I would not stop completely. It's all about that stretching, massaging, and eventually strengthening the muscles, the tendons, and everything else in your feet, and really your entire lower body. Good question. Sorry to hear that. Daniel asked, any chance for Nolan's this summer? Daniel, good question. So basically, just so everybody knows, I'm going to be racing my first marathon in 2019. A lot of you know that already. But then my next peak race is August 24th. And I registered for the Pikes Peak Ascent. It's a half marathon up a 14,000 foot mountain here in Colorado. So Daniel, if Pikes Peak goes really well, who knows? I actually would be very open to considering Nolan's, especially given that I will have just been training for Pikes Peak Ascent. Daniel, great question. Okay, I cannot keep up with all of them. And again, thank you for your patience if I don't get to it. Height and weight, $120 and 5'5.5". Good question. The kids are sleeping, Daniel. That's how. Thomas, can running in the cold without proper gear cause injuries? I didn't know that could happen. Thomas, I will just say this, that I had an IT band issue pop up in high school, so on my knee, and that was really, and I think if I would have been wearing warmer clothes around my knee and just warmed up my knee better, I don't know if that IT band issue would have popped up. Good question. Okay. Dun, 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 dun. I'm just looking here. Okay. Good questions. Okay, let's dive into a few more that came in. And again, you guys are amazing for being here for an hour. Amazing. You're incredible. Okay, and keep them coming. Keep them coming. I know you speak to mainly experienced runners, but do you think you could do a video with a detailed program for someone that is starting to run? And that is from a Gecko Lovable in Montreal. Absolutely. I will, yes. In fact, I want to create a series of videos to talk to people who are interested in beginning running. And I would love to do that. I just don't quite have enough time at this very moment. But yes, I will be doing that. Thank you for that question. Okay, here we go. From Carl, how many 20 to 22 milers in a training block? Love it, Carl. That's a good question, Carl. And Carl, I will just say, and I think you're asking maybe for advice for you versus like what I might do. For you, Carl, and I would say if you could do 3, that's awesome. I think you could do just fine with 2, But man, if you could get 3 in, 20 to 22 milers before a marathon, that would be, you would be very confident going into the race. And I will probably do a little more just because I'm used to racing 50Ks and long races. But Carl, great question. Oh man, I would say 3. So I would, not every week, break it up. So 1 and then a lower week and then another 20 miler and then a lower week and then another 20 miler. That would be amazing. And if you can get 22, so as I talked about a couple days ago, push through that, basically the wall. Many people hit the wall at 20 miles in a marathon race. So if you can push through to 22 miles, that's just perfect. Okay, here we go. How is the PF going? Another one from Damien. What seemed to aid your recovery the most? Damien, it's gone, but I will just say, Damien, that I think I ruptured it, so I may have, kind of dodged a bullet, meaning it released, so the tension that was in there in the fascia tendon kind of released in that race maybe 2 or 3 months ago. But what was helping, I would say, Damien, the most was, I'd have to say probably it has to be the combination of stretching and massage. Yeah, and oh gosh, we could go into that all night. Good question. Let's see. Have you ever gotten noticed in public, Robert? I have, Robert, but you know what's more exciting is I get high fives, maybe once a month out on the trails outside of Denver. That's really fun. When another runner recognizes me in my green hat and they give me a high five on the trails. That's really fun. Good question. Okay. Rhonda asks, I have a mild case of shin splints. Will I make it worse if I run a half marathon next week? Rhonda, Rhonda, I've only had shin splints once in my life, and I'm kind of glad I had, and that was only a year ago. So as a 32-year-old, that was the first time, and I'm glad I kind of experienced it because I can now, I know what it feels like. And I kept running. I'll just say that much. Now I'm a little crazy at times, but I kept running, and yes, it went away. It went away. It did not get worse, just so you know. It was painful at times, and I had to really kind of warm it up really well before the race and stretch as much as possible. I took a little ibuprofen just to take the edge off, but no, I did not. I think you could get through and be fine. I don't think you're going to make it worse. Again, not a doctor. That's my sister. She's the doctor in the family. Okay, I'm just trying to keep up. And again, if you want to hit a super chat, go for it. I'll definitely answer those. If I'm running a marathon in September and come off track in May, when should I pour on the mileage? So I'm assuming your track is going to... Joel, I would pour on the mileage in mid-June to mid-August, mid-June to mid-August, depending on when in September. Sound good, Joel? We could, email me and I could give you more details on like exact training ideas for that. That's exciting. Okay, let's see here. Yes, and I think Brent's trying to help out. Compression socks really help, and I see for shin splints. Brent, great idea. I love compression for your calves, for your Brent. That's a great recommendation, Rhonda. Check out that comment from Brent. Okay, I'm just making sure I'm not missing anything. How do you plan your nutrition during ultra races? For example, taking gel or electrolytes every 20 minutes or every 2 minutes, 2 miles, etc. to reduce chance of cramps and whatnot. Thanks. From Zawir. I usually go by the 30-minute rule. So I try to maybe slow down my pace a little bit every 30 minutes. And I prefer gummies over gels. It just hits my stomach better. I really love the Honey Stinger waffles. The Honey Stinger waffles, I love those during a race because it just has a little more substance and doesn't seem to upset my stomach as much. But I try to go for every 30 minutes, just hitting it good. And then I'm a pretty big fan of, actually, believe it or not, traditional Gatorade, and especially late in the race. It's just a little bit of a sugar jump and a little sugar spike. So if I'm doing a 50K, I'll try and hit Gatorade around like mile 25. So good question. Let's see. Okay, trying here. You guys are rocking. What is your opinion on the Higdon training plan? Abe, I saw that comment earlier and I'm actually not familiar with it. And I apologize. And I'll just call it, guess what though? Abe, I will research that. Gosh, and maybe I should know about the Higdon training plan. I do not at this point. Huh? Sound good? Okay. I use Zenza compression socks, but I need to do more research on that, Jared, just so you know. Tailwind is amazing. Yes, I know. Out and back. I know. I'm glad you actually said that because I want to do more experimenting in 2019 with Tailwind and a couple others. So I'm glad you brought that up. Tailwind is like a Gatorade powder, just for everyone out there that might not know. Okay, let's see. What other... In addition to selling SJD merch, do you plan to sell coaching services for supplemental income from the Rec Runner? So we talked about this a little bit last week, and gosh, I mean, here's the deal. I would not feel comfortable selling training plans for the marathon because I've never raced a marathon. But talk to me in 6 months. If this next marathon goes really well, yeah, let's talk about it. But at this point, I would say no for the marathon. Believe it or not, I would actually feel very confident selling a training plan for a 5K because I had some pretty good success coaching my brother, and I did some unique things to help him get really fast. So anyway, I would feel comfortable with a 5K. Harry asks, any track races this year, 5K, 10K? I don't think so, but that would be really fun. I know, to get out to Stanford or Palo Alto, race a 10K, ooh, very tempting, very tempting. Best full length tights for fall and winter from the Cowboy Function. Let's see. I would say, okay, I know I have a lot of Nike gear, but at this point, I'm a Nike fan as far as their full-length tights. I like their, but I have heard good things about Asics as well. But right now, I use Nike full-length tights, and I use the thin ones actually. Because I often overdress, and so I lean toward the thinner Nike tights. Let's see. Daniel asks, do you watch Kofuzi's channel? That's how I found you. That's from Daniel. So Kofuzi is a fellow runner and YouTuber from Chicago. And Daniel, I do watch Kofuzi. I hope he's not watching right now because Kofuzi, I apologize, I don't watch every day. I probably watch Kofuzi twice a week when I have time, and I love him. He's a great guy, and actually he and I have had very similar paths on YouTube. So good question, great question, Daniel. Thank you for the super chat. You're amazing. Any experience with Skins tights? No, but again, I've heard good things about Skins, and I'd love to try them sometime. Let's see. From Law, how can I get your email to ask about a training plan? So somewhere on the desktop, you can find it. So the desktop version of YouTube, and then it's under the About section. I hope that helps. I know, yeah, it's under the About section. Okay, let's see. How are your feelings after completing your first ultra marathon? I feel, you know, I won a 50K in 2018. And basically, that was exciting. It was my first win since college, and it was exciting. It was amazing. It was a 32-mile course, 2 16-mile loops, 6,000 feet of vertical gain, and I basically I crushed the racing tactics in that race. So that was fun, like to be fit and to feel good in the mountains racing at Copper Mountain. So good question. Thank you. And so I am, just so you know, I'm always aware of everyone's time. And so I just want to be vigilant of we've now been going for an hour. Thank you for sticking with me for an hour. I hope you're enjoying this. And before we sign off, and we're not signing off yet, I will stick around with you guys for a little while. But I want to know, who should I interview on this YouTube channel? Who should I interview? Think about like professional runners, professional coaches, anyone in the running community, comment in the chat, and I'm going to start researching people that I can invite onto the YouTube channel to interview them live for you guys. Sound good? I think, because I can bring a lot of value, I hope, but imagine bringing all, professional runners, even like high school coaches. I would love to bring on high school coaches. So comment, that would be amazing. Okay, I'm just looking here. Dun, 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 dun. Looking here in the chat, you're amazing. Did you say what marathon you would try to do if you can't do grandma's? Mike, I'm looking at the Cleveland Marathon in late May. It's flat. Yeah, I'm looking at that one. So it's been really hard, Mike, to find and it looks like the competition in Cleveland is like 215 to 220 range, which is right where I want to be. Good question. Okay, Wetmore, Walmsley, Coburn, nice. Mark Roberts, oh, interesting. That's a good one. Sage, yes, Walmsley. James Lawrence, Sage. Oh, you got. Okay, let's see here. Who else? Kipchoge. Why not? Shoot for the stars. That would be. I love Kipchoge. He's just like the nicest guy. Goucher. Okay, Kara Goucher. Love it. Keep the ideas coming. Keep them coming. Think ultra running, marathon, 10K. Yeah, keep them coming. Keep them coming. That's amazing. Okay, Liam asks, the most versatile trainer, something that could be used for all types of runs. Liam, oh man. How could I not say the Turbo, the Nike Turbo, or the New Balance Beacon? How could I not say one of those? But just keep in mind, Liam, that, and let's see, a super chat just came in. Just keep in mind, Liam, that, it's like I haven't tried every shoe. Yes, Damien, you get it, Damien. Oh, love it, Damien. Thank you for that super chat. The more you honor me, the more I shall bless you. Infinite Prague, baby. Damien, you're the best. Thank you. Okay, Joe Rogan. Yes, why not? That's funny. Forrest Gump. Hey, we could do that. Call up Tom Hanks. Joe Gray. Brilliant. Okay, I love you guys. You're the best. We've been going for an hour. I'm going to now, this is your chance to ask any last questions for this week's live stream. Thank you for sticking around for so long. It looks like the technical difficulties, we ironed them out except for the standby above my head. We'll get that figured out by next Wednesday, 7 p.m. Mountain Time. And who knows, maybe we'll have a special guest. Huh? How's that sound? Mako, nice. I like that. Former teammates from CU, that's good, Liam. Okay, so a couple more questions and then we'll wrap it up here. As a beginner, what advice would you give me so I can do well in the 5K category? I'm a high schooler and I currently run only about 18 to 20 kilometers a week. Yeah, man, I mean, it depends on how long you've been running, but I'd say patience. Maybe, yeah, I would consider adding a little more mileage or kilometers to your training. That'll help. Just be patient, and it depends on how old you are, but maybe add 5 kilometers a week do that for a month and then back it off for a couple weeks, and then add 5 kilometers a week and then back it off. But it really is all about that aerobic base. Just be patient and make sure you have good shoes so you don't get injured. All right, good question. Thanks for the question. Ginger Runner, hey, heck yeah, that's awesome. What grade are you Jared, you asked, what grade are you excited for in 2019? What grade are you excited for? Did you mean to say race are you excited for? Follow up with that on that, Jared. Track tactics, oh my goodness, depends on the race. What do you mean that you were a walk-on to CU in college? So I was not recruited. Sorry I did not explain this better. We just kind of ran out of time, but I was not recruited out of high school, meaning I had to try out and walk on to the cross-country team. So I did an 8K time trial, and I ended up beating some of the CU runners that day. So the coach, Mark Wetmore, looked at me and was like, who's this guy? And you have to wear a red shirt when you do the time trial. So the coach, Mark Wetmore, knows like, okay, this guy's trying out. And I did it. I walked on. We will talk about that in more detail soon. You guys are amazing. Any others? Gear. Okay, Jared. Okay, good one. Let's see. What gear are you excited for in 2019? Oh man, Jared. Well, the first thing, Jared, is I need a good watch. I need a watch. So, and as far as shoes go, like the shoes that are arriving this week, I'm very excited about. I'm not going to tell you what those are, Jared. That's a big question, and frankly, I'm a little tired, and so I'm trying to think of other gear. You know what? Okay, a Solomon backpack, a Solomon, Ultra vest is what I'm excited about. I need to get a Solomon vest, racing vest. So good question, Jared. Sorry, a little tired, right? I think we're gonna call it. You're amazing. Anything else? I'm just looking at the chat here. Thank you for being here. We will do this again next week, and I'm just grateful for this community. Again, you're incredible. Like the fact that, like, if we scroll to the top of this chat and we see everybody who's literally tuning in from around the world, it just speaks to the universality of running and how running is so applicable to so many different cultures, no matter where you live in the world. And I was just thinking about this earlier, like cross-country skiing. You can't do cross-country skiing in southern Texas. Like, it just doesn't work down there. And like biking, if you live somewhere that like doesn't have good roads, you can't go road biking. And so that's why I just love running, is like we are here together on a global scale as runners. And it just is a beautiful thing in my humble opinion. All right? Thank you for being here. We're gonna call it. I'm just scanning these chats right now. And again, we will be back next Wednesday at 7 p.m. Mountain Time. And thank you again for the ideas. We'll see if we can get someone else on to talk about running. All right. You're the best. See you next week.